Okay, so welcome to Worldly Wise Lesson 2. Remember, you have note cards due on Friday, and there is a quiz on Friday. And I highly suggest bringing your book to class with you on Tuesday because we will be working with the book a little bit in class before we get to our literature activity for the day. Remember, note cards. Your name goes on the upper left-hand corner of all 15 note cards. On the front goes the word big in the middle and the part of speech below it. And then on the back of the card goes the definition, a sentence, 2 synonyms, and 2 antonyms. And those are due on Friday. Okay, I'm using the Quizlet site again. Notice here that the parts of speech are missing, but those are in your textbook. So make sure that you grab those from the textbook as part of your notes. Okay, the first word is absolve, is to clear guilt or to free from a promise or a responsibility. So when you hear the phrase like absolving someone of their sins, it's freeing them of that sin, and it's supposed to clear their guilt. So kind of like that guilty conscious thing. If you absolve someone, it takes away that guilty conscious. If you borrowed money from someone and they say they absolve you of it, it means that they're clearing you of the promise or the responsibility of paying it back. Adumbrate has 2 definitions: to foreshadow in an indirect way, or to outline in a sketchy way, or to partially disclose. So this is a form of foreshadowing, much like prescience. Prescience meaning, though, that you can actually like kind of see it happen and unravel. Whereas adumbrate is the idea is that it's indirect and it's kind of like it's sketchy and it just kind of hints at it and outlines it, but it's not fully there. Okay, so it's just that little tiny hint at it and thinking that something might be coming. Okay, but it's very indirect. Apothem is a short instructive saying. One of my favorites is an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So that idea is it's instructing you to eat an apple so that you don't have to go to the doctor. Those are apothems. So those little tiny short sayings that you hear that often give you instructions or advice in life, those are apothems. Aspersion, a defamatory expression or slander. So aspersion is when you on purpose insult somebody's reputation and cause that harm. So you're slandering them, you're causing their reputation. So you're starting rumors about them. And these are rumors that can harm their reputation, and often they don't come back from them. These are also a form of someone being bullied. So when someone has aspersions thrown at them or said to them, they're often being bullied by the other person. Coadjutor. This is one who works with another, usually in a subordinate position or an assistant. So the coadjutor is the person who is next in line. Or the person, I don't want to say necessarily next in line, but it's kind of like the assistant or the person who helps. So Dr. Dorian has many coadjutors. She's got teachers, she's got other administrators, people who work with her, that type of aspect. So you have the boss and then you have the assistants. You also have like the boss and the secretary. The secretary would be a coadjutor. Interns would be coadjutors, but it's that person who works for another with a subordinate or lesser role. Congenital is existing at or dating from birth, being an essential characteristic. So someone that is born with the problem or born with the good thing. So congenital disease or congenital heart defect. So these are things that they've known about since they were born. Okay, so it dates back to their birth. This can also be a good thing. So it can be their intelligence, it could be their eye color. So that aspect fits in as well. But the important part is that it's from the time they were born. Okay, the next one is Ilan. The E normally has a accent above it, so it's Ilan. A lively spirit with a distinct style. So this is someone who is definitely different in their demeanor and their clothing, and they usually start like style trends and doing things differently, and they're very lively and easy to follow in that, but very distinctive. So their clothing is different, their attitude is different, their hair might be different, but it's also very lively and distinctive at the same time. Germane is pertinent and fitting, so it's appropriate for the topic. So when we're in class, a germane topic to talk about would be the essays, the literature. A non-germane topic would be to talk about sports, because sports is not pertinent or fitting to an English class. Hiatus is an interruption or gap in space, continuity, or time. I think of this as kind of like a mini vacation. So when someone goes on hiatus, they're taking a gap in their work time or a gap in their work space. So like summer, you could consider summer a hiatus for students. Christmas vacation, spring vacation, those types of things would be a student's hiatus. When an adult is working and they go on a vacation, that can be considered a hiatus. Another aspect of a hiatus is someone is going to college and they decide to take a semester off. They're on hiatus. If someone is a professor and they decide to not teach for a semester because they're doing research somewhere else, they're taking a hiatus from their normal job. Immure is to confine within or as if within walls or to imprison. I think of the Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe that you guys read in 9th grade. With this word is that idea that one character immured another in the wall. So you're imprisoning them, you're building the wall, you're basically like building the bricks and the doors and the gates and everything to confine them and hold them in there. So also to immure is like when you put someone in prison, you're immuring them in prison. Inelectable is not to be avoided or changed or inevitable. It's inelectable that there is going to be a Wordly Wise quiz on Friday. It is inelectable that we are probably going to have a pop quiz at least once this week. It's something that's inevitable. You can't change it. It's going to happen. Okay? Internecine has two definitions: marked by slaughter or something that is mutually destructive, or relating to conflict within a group. So slaughter and mutually destructive is the idea of like two groups of people slaughtering each other. So it has to be mutually destructive. It's not one side slaughtering another. So it's not genocide. It's not the Holocaust. It's the idea that two groups are fighting together. So I think of this as like two gangs fighting against each other. And they're mutually destructive against one another. So the other side, the second definition, is relating to conflict within a group, is the idea that within a group of people, they are fighting with each other. So this is one group, and within them, it's kind of like there's a fraction or a fracture that's starting to happen, so the group starts to break up and fight with itself. Okay, but remember, it's both sides are fighting. Okay, not just one fighting the other. Invoke has two definitions: to appeal to earnestly or to cite in justification. So I invoke the Fifth Amendment, that idea that you refuse to speak and you're justifying it because it's the Fifth Amendment in the Constitution saying that you do not have to say things if you're going to make yourself guilty. So if you're in the other side of invoke is the idea of the justification. So if you're citing the justification. So if you're a lawyer and you are invoking all of the evidence for your client, you were citing the justification. So you're citing the reasons they did it or didn't do it. So that's the idea of invoke. Prototype is a person or thing that serves as an example of its kind, an original. So it's so if you see like a prototype car, it's the first of its kind, or it's an original. So like for the iPhone is the prototype for smartphones. Electric car, the Prius is the prototype for electric cars. Those types of things. 1984, which is a novel we're going to read this year, is a prototype for dystopian novels. And And Rice's Interview with a Vampire is a prototype for modern day vampire novels. So that aspect in there, it's the original, it's what starts it, what gets it moving. Okay, the last one, quadrennial, is the first definition is occurring every 4 years. The second definition is lasting for 4 years. So you got to look at both sides of this. So an event that happens every 4 years would be the Olympics, which just happened, the World Cup soccer tournaments, the Winter and Summer Olympics, both are on 4-year cycles. Presidential elections happen every 4 years. So looking at that, but then the second definition, it's something that lasts for for 4 years. So high school would be considered quadrennial because it lasts for 4 years. A presidential term is quadrennial because it lasts for 4 years. Okay, so looking at that differing between the two. Okay, remember that on Friday you have your note cards due, and that there will be a quiz on Friday, and remember to bring your book to class tomorrow because we will be using it in class. Talk to you tomorrow.